Sanibona emakhaya igama lami Scelo Ngubane. I'm an inspirational speaker. Today we have our special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Sanibonani emakhaya igama lami nguNomathemba ngizalwa kaNgubane Fakude. I am so happy to be here. Abanye abantu abangaziyo bangibiza ugogo Noma, abanye abantu abangeziyo bathi nguPriestess Noma. I'm so glad to be here. Ngiyathokoza kakhulu kubogogo nabomkhulu engihamba nabo to my maternal family. So uma umbomvu uwakanhlapho wakangwenya wasekhaya wena. From my paternal side uma umtolo uxaba ukhumalo wakithi.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, we've been talking about spirituality. We have to break it down now to understand because there's so much confusion, so much topic. I mean, it's a very diverse topic, especially in our African context. Let's break it down, the spirituality.
Okay. So mina angithanda ukuthi mangikhuluma ngezinto zikamoya ngikhulume njengothisha like you know come with authoritative type of an attitude. I prefer to share my journey.
Okay.
Yeah, lapha kuBhayibhelini khona I think it's John, he says I talk about that which I have touched, experienced and have been and tasted. So ithi ngiqale la mfowethu inkinga ekhona manje ukuthi we are shifting from one timeline to a different timeline.
Okay.
We are moving from indlela ethize ebesiphila ngayo mhlambe sikholwa ngayo sikhonza ngayo to indlela different to that.
Okay.
Manje siku-transition of that thing. So ngesilungu bayibiza ukuthi ascension.
Okay.
Yes, sonke we are ascending into a different dimension. Okay, akhona ama-complicated terms angifuni sibe technical about it. I just want us to have a chat. Into enzakalayo wena mfowethu ukuthi because I'm sure you are aware ukuthi there's a lot of in the African context a lot of movement enzakalayo mhlambe phecelezi abantu abaningi bayathwasa you know, and there's been a complaint with how is it possible because sazi ukuthi ubizo there were special people. In fact emandulo you would only have inyanga nesangoma sendawo. You would not have multiple people. Now what is actually happening is that angifuni ukukhuluma ngobungoma because angisona isangoma, right? But I can talk about what my observation is with regards to the space in terms of what is happening. But engikwaziyo nje ukuthi wonke umuntu manje isikhathi sokuthi ascend. We all are being called to move into our higher consciousness.
Wow.
And now into enzakalayo is that izinto ezisibuyiselayo, if we're talking higher consciousness, we're talking also about the Christ consciousnness. We're talking ubunkulunkulu, omkhulu womkhulu wethu.
Okay.
Right? Going back to our God selves. That's what's happening. Sonke siyalena kahle kahle sifuna ukubuyela ebunkulunkuluwini bethu, right? And knowing about it, because I know there's a lot of young people who are reading history, they're reading a lot of literature about being African, Kemet, Egyptian religion, African spirituality and all that. Inkinga ukuthi, which is one of the things engizokhuluma ngazo, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, so knowledge into ehlele khona lapho, wisdom uyayithatha uyayi-apply.
Wow.
Abantu abaningi bayahluleka ukufinyelela kulelo zinga lelo, right? So what's happening is that with this transition that is taking place, we are all hearing these calls. But can I tell you what? The closest symbol ekhona la emhlabeni esibuyiselayo kuNkulunkulu yini? It's nature.
Okay.
So there's a call from the wild. Right? Manje into esuke yenzakala ukuthi sasuka the way sasiphila ngakhona as black people in specifically, right?
Yeah.
Because you wearing the suit means something. You decided to incarnate uthe mawuza kulo mhlaba in this incarnation wachoose uba mnyama. So we cannot like pretend like that doesn't exist. Now, thina abantu abamnyama, our connection to umvelnqange, to umenzi was in nature. And so now inkinga ukuthi sekube khona i-colonization eyenzakele phecelezi kuleyo ndawo leyo ukuthi there was because of mhlawumbe kancane to do with the church, you know, saying ukuthi inanani wrong ningayenzini isintu in nikhonza amadlozi. As a result abantu bebekusaba lokho, they completely moved away. So asakhumbuli, we've forgotten ourselves, because forgetting who you are, forgetting God is forgetting ourselves. But manje i-faculty le yezangoma cishe bona azange baba too apart from it.
Okay.
They continued with these geometric symbols zobuntu zokuxhumana nemvelo yabo. So that's a problem ekhona manje ukuthi okay, each time you getting this call, a call from your God, a call from your nature, into ebukekayo isimbolo ekhona ephathekayo ubungoma. And so that's why everybody else mayiqala avuka kuba khona that thing ngaphakathi kuwe ukuthi man kukhona lento ekubizayo.
Okay.
Kukhona lokho okuvukayo ngaphakathi kuwe. The immediate thing, and uyazi ukuthi it's not the church. Kuna that distinct thing nje esho ukuthi it's not the church, because we've been going to church for years and years. Yeah. I've been going to church all my life. And I can tell you ukuthi ukuvuka kwami mangithi ngivukile, I'm living a conscious life. Everything that I'm doing, every single thought, every single feeling, emotion, act engiyenzayo, it doesn't catch me by surprise. I'm intentional in terms of how I live. And I can tell you ukuthi lokho kwenzeke only after I came in contact and made and built a relationship with my ancestors, who basically became my guide in navigating the path that I chose in going back to the God self, right? So manje into yenzakala, because nami ngike ngabhayiziseka kancane ukuthi okay, mawuvuka, it's like, because njengoba ngisho usesontweni all your life, but then there's this big hole. And all of a sudden life doesn't make sense. Everything is just, you are dead. You understand? Obviously, into engasebenzi, and if it's not bringing you life, you ought to look for something else.
Yes.
Now, ubungoma nesonto cishe ngasho ukuthi there are two sides of the same coin.
Because you're both looking at the spiritual being of a person.
They're both looking at the spiritual being of a person, and they both promise to take you into a state like Impuleko will experience some kind of fulfillment and completion and all that.
Okay.
They both unfortunately operate kakhulu with the with the energy of fear.
Okay.
Yeah. So emasontweni mayo khona hlala kuthiwa nje uNkulunkulu nje uyonibhubhisa you know what I'm saying? Yes. Like you have to follow this, and then please don't question and don't be angry at God. And you know, church is always about uNkulunkulu lo thusayo, mawungatithe ukuthi uzokupunish, uzoba poor and what. Kanti ke siyayisizwe futhi nasebungomeni ukuthi kuthiwa mawukuvela kuthiwa uyothwasa, if uyahala bathi uzohlanya, uzolahlekelwa izinto, uzogula, etc. See, so they operate a lot with the frequency vibration of fear, but not generalize. Unfortunately, yes, it's not like that with everybody. So I'm saying ukuthi with me also ngacishe ngawela into that trap of ngiyothwasiswa kukuthi akukona engibizelwe kona. Yes, because we all chose a path when we incarnated sakhetha wena usakhumbula like when you think ukuthi uzibuza ukuthi ngihlupheka kangaka kuScelo amashow community work, why, what is this all about? When did I make this agreement? So this is an agreement you made with your God, with your ancestors, with mawufika in this incarnation uzokwenza 1 2 3 4 5.
Oh wow.
And what is beautiful is that what I was thinking about in fact this morning was I'm intrigued to know ukuthi abanye abantu abayixoxisi lento lena, like I don't know if you had a serious journey where you had to consciously decide with okay nguScelo and this is what I need to be doing 1 2 3 4 5. I don't know if you had to go through that. But there are other people who would just fall into their mission nje bakhulele kuyo, angazi mhlambe kusike ukuthi abakubo babashanelele kahle indlela yabo, you know. Yes, so I was intrigued. I'm intrigued in understanding that ukuthi how does it happen ukuthi omunye umuntu abe naleyo nhlanhla leyo nje ukuthi from a very early age abe azi ukuthi this is my life. So if we go back to mhlambe healing practices asemandulo, what would happen is if umkhulu benesikhwama, umkhulu uyinyanga, makuzovela umzukulu noma isizukulu esithize, right? So when you are born, because I'm also into astrology, so when you are born, the stars they speak. Umlando wakho ukuthi ubuya kuphi, kwenzakalani ku past life yakho, why did you come here and what are you here to do? amaphi ama-challenges ozohlangabezana nawe, what are the major key events. So when we look at your natal chart, we can read all of that.
Wow.
Abantu bakudala ke bebangayifundi ku-natal chart, they would just know ukuthi inyanga imeka so, ama-stars ameka so, this is his Sagittarius, kusho ukuthi uza nakuphi nakuphi, right? So umkhulu bese kwazi ukuthi nanglo uzo replace umkhulu.
Wow.
So ukhula into yokuthwasa yayingayenziwi outside of ekhaya. Yes, wawuthi uma sekutholakala kubonakala ukuthi la, and then umkhulu will just, you will grow up next to umkhulu, and you will start learning izinto zendumba ekhaya without anyone having to orientate you or mhlawumbe akufundise nendlela yakhe yokuphila, but it would be your way of life. You are la ekhaya.
Wow.
And so that's what I call an organic African healer.
Yeah.
Yes, where isipho sakho sokuphilisa abantu asixutshiwe neminye imimoya nezinye izinto ukuthi kufakwa ama-spices ukuthi yabo, now you sound like everybody else, now you dress like
wow.
So this thing is so interesting because I've been exposed to both worlds. I mean, as I'm saying, I've been exposed to the church. I know how church folks can be also trying to speak the same, behave the same, this camouflage. So I'm seeing it even. So I was fortunate. I've got very my spiritual guides. They are no nuisance. So every time I say because in the when this awakening, and I understand how people fall into a trap of because it's like you're constipated,
okay,
you know, and you're looking for anything that's going to relieve you. Yeah. So not all the laxatives are good, right? But I just cut this is like I need to be relieved. And if you are unfortunate, you will get into emzi nomuntu onganalo iqiniso. I was very fortunate. I always respect her umakhosi lawyer. She's one of the truthful people. So because what happens is you will start dreaming, you will start seeing visions, and because no one these symbols are foreign to you because you were in the church all along. So mina futhi ngibuye ekhaya la sasiphila nje isikholwa. I think kuyaqalwa nje ukuhlatshwa ngabe kuthiwa nje kuhlatshwa isilwane for whatever. I mean, mengiletha le mikhuba leyo, it never used to happen. So symbols that had to do with rituals zomsamo were foreign to me. Yabo? So uzoqala uphuphi izinto ezinjalo, uzoqala uphuphi irokhe elimhlophe, uzosontela esontweni la ningagqoki leyo color leyo, and akekho ligqokayo lelo rock, and so you would then struggle to try and put these patterns together. So what happened to me is Sislo, I was going to her a lot, and she was open. She would share. She would explain to me, "Mang pupile ashukuti kusho logo," and she would just kind of like put me in class. But I had already started a therapy session called transformation therapy, self alchemist, which is one of the things I specialize with. Yeah, so who's gukula. It's like alchemize.
Okay.
Sikpeg ukuthi ube ilento oyiyo, because see what happens is a lot of us before the awakening we leave the what. The what is what you've been told you are, what the world has told you are, what your childhood has told you are, what your background is telling you are. Whoa. Awakening is awakening to your who. Who are you? Because those are two different people.
Wow.
Yes. So the what person is trying to fit into the matrix, is trying to live according to umhlaba.
Okay.
Yeah, kanti nasebhayibhelini ngayishiyo khona la ivesi ngiyalithanda athi khona ene uPaul, let your mind be transformed. So this program I was in, it was interesting because it was a white therapist that I was attending. So mankana ngibona these symbols engicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe ezesintu, and I'm thinking, no, kushuthi I can see you, you know. So I go to this lady and she would share, and then this one night ngangihleli, and I was thinking, you know what, I can't go on like this. I need to go to lento lena. Mina ngumuntu ke in nature I'm Sagittarius. So in nature yethu ukuthi things must move.
Yes.
Yes. So if seba stagnant, we just go crazy, you know? And I remember I had decided deep in my heart and my mind ukuthi ngiyoba ethwasana lalo yasesilo. The next morning mangifika emsebenzini ngisathi ngithi ngiyamfonela, she calls me and she says, "Hey, last night ngibonisiwe abantu abazofika baba amathwasana, you were there." How ngithi, wow, this is wonderful, because I was also thinking about it, you know. And she says, "Bangitshelile bangi-introduce kodwa ngithe makufika kuwe bathe cha, this one does not belong here.
Oh, wow.
She must continue where she is." Imagine ukuthi if lo bekanganalo lela qiniso, how messed up my life could have turned out. You know, because inkinga ekhona ke mfowethu. Inkinga yesisu.
Oh.
So kulula ukuthi ngenze imali mangokuthwasisa more than mangikulapha. So there's also the business element to these things, whereby if I don't captivate you, just like it's happening in the church, man.
Yeah.
If umfundisi captivate, then kuneyimali nje
Ayenza ngawo.
yes, ezidingekayo, compulsory, or else 1, 2, 3 is not going to happen. But if somebody offers to heal you, to help you in your healing journey, to help you navigate in your healing journey, good dinga a lot of love and less of this monetary exchange value. Imagine if a big part of your motivation when umsebenzi lo is money, inking ibal up.
Yeah.
So that was a turning point in my life for her to be so truthful and so loving to say, "But not you, girl."
Eish.
And so I was like, okay, kushuti khona lento engiyenzayo with this self alchemy therapy session is attend kulomlungu. Now interestingly enough, that's my healing modality as well. Mina if uza endumbeni yami ungacabanga ukuthi siyadlala. You know, we're not serious. We're not we are, our healing modality is playfulness. Our healing modality is grace. Our healing modality is I reach you where you are. So we don't do military style. So people who are not used to a soft life, you would look and be like, interestingly enough, I was talking to another healer, Babumkwena, and he was like, you know, I've had people uhlola nge 150. And abantu mangimtshela inhlolo yami 150, they go like, because abantu bacabanga ukuthi 3,000, 5,000 inhlolo yiyo. Person can come adinga usizo la something and you just say no, it's 300, and then somebody else says 15,000 and they be like no, you know. And shame we know of people who've been robbed emails zabo bawakhiphile lama thousands and thousands. But the point that I'm making is I want to conscientize people, especially young people who are having this thing engaphakathi kubo abazwayo ukuthi kunento efuna ukuphuma. I just want to say to them, don't rush ukuthi uconclude ukuthi kumele uyothwasa ube isangoma, because ukuthwasa yebo nami ngithwasile, sithwasela izinto ezihlukene.
Okay.
Yes, intwaso, it's what we are all going through, whether we are aware or not, because intwaso or ukuthwasa, it's basically your transformation to your higher self.
Okay.
Yes. So ke njengoba ngisho angithanda ukukhulumela ubungoma because angiswanisa ngoma. I did not fulfill their rituals. But in my journey, so much has happened. So many layers of my false identity had to fall off.
Okay.
To get to the real me. Right? Now, so if somebody asks me, okay, Gogo, uyini, ubani, you know, isangoma inyanga uyini, it took a while for me to get to mhlambe ngasho ngithi i-definition that I'm comfortable with, and it's simply ukuthi ngisithunywa sika menzi.
Okay.
So those who read the Bible lapha ku Revelation ukukhulunywa ngokuthi kunemimoya uNkulunkulu ayoyithumela emhlabeni eyosebenza ngiyiwani yalo mimoya leyo.
Wow.
In the physical body. And there's so many of us that are here right now to assist humanity with their consciousness expansion, evolution. Because I was thinking about it this morning as well. It's interesting. So it seems there would be individuals sent in a particular area. For example, Yeshua was one of them, who was sent in ngesikhathi sakhe to assist lapho bekumele ukuthi assist khona ukukhomba abantu indlela. Mina, I boldly write in my articles, I am truth, I am the way, I am the light. I can boldly say that. So Mina, if in the church context I would be seen as uJesu, think it's uJesu because that's what people call him, but I call him Yeshua. And it's interesting what I would be criticized of by if I were to say these things in the church. It's exactly what he was criticized for. So people were not happy ukuthi uzibizwa ngokuthi uNkulunkulu, uzibizwa ukuthi uyindlela yeqiniso. He was basically ngathini ubechitha lo mhlangano obukhona of only a certain people monopolizing spirituality, yabo ukuthi abantu babe under bona, because that's what religion and culture does, guys.
Okay.
Religion and culture bezinendawo yabo, mhlambe bekunesikhathi la where they were necessary, but polarity and negative with these two systems is that it's usually serving certain individuals. It's a hierarchy structure all the time. It's never flat. And for those who follow the teachings of Yeshua and who follow the lifestyle, you will see that he was flattening the structure. And that's why the Pharisees didn't like him. They hated that. So it's into enjalo that a lot of us are here to do now. We are here to flatten the structure because we are saying God is accessible. You are God. God is in you, and you are not separate from uNkulunkulu. You don't have to do these so many things for you to ukubuyela kuNkulunkulu.
God inside of you.
God is you. That's what Yeshua tried explaining to people when he said, the Father is in me and I am in the Father. I am one with the Father. So uNkulunkulu kuwe uma sikhuluma, so izinto eziningi wena mfowethu, ama distortions and izinto zamabomo that I don't want to get into, but uma ulifunda iBhayibheli, once you have this awakening, like wow, it's like iBhayibheli is not bad, because people are criticizing it, but uyabona lapha ukuthi lapha kune manipulation eyenziwa la kule story less, because as I'm saying, remember it was intentional. This is a system that is supposed to serve a certain group of people and to keep the majority under a certain group of people so that these people enjoy the benefits, of being in control.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you've touched a lot of great things, especially in confirmation of Jesus. There is a simple malang that saw from the stars that there's a king there, and they followed the star, and they were not misled. Well, I have an interest that I wanted to be studying stars and moon, that even our calendar, I'm told that we used to follow the moon, not the is it European calendar that we're using today, and how much of that affects us, because we think that intelligentsia must always come from the West. We think that anything sure by the Western countries, we think it's ungo. We ask, has it been confirmed? And that affects even, because if our intelligentsia come from there, it means also we think wisdom come from them, knowledge comes from them. And as Africans, how much have we lost, if you can weigh from your experience?
So it's very interesting that you asked that, because uma uya emfuleni mhlambe, as a person who needs to align. So as you know, there's 4 elements, but there's actually the 5th, we call it the ethereal, which is imkhat, amazulu, and then you have your water, your fire, your air, and your fire, air, water, wind.
Wind, yes.
Okay, but air is wind. What's the 4th one?
I'm trying to think of the 4th one.
Your body is made up of that, and our livelihood even is made up of that. So okay, imisamo ebalulekile. We've got 3 organic imsamo.
Okay.
Esustaina impilo la kwa earth. It is the moon, it's the sun, and it is the earth. And then bese la kwa earth kunemisamo ehlukene. Kunomsamo wamanzi, kunomsamo wentaba, kunomsamo we-forest, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So each and every one of us have a makeup, a tenny. We have what we call 5 subtle bodies. Okay. One of them is the emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, your physical body, and your ethereal body. Is tones. And these bodies, they must be in balance. So depending on your makeup, who you are, which star you come from, what you are here to do, balance yakho, we are all dependent with these elements in Kunmangas.
Okay.
Yes, to balance us. So if balance yakho, so I always talk when people think when you're talking about balance is ngapha na ngapha kumele kulingane, but it's not true. So if you are a cook, right?
Yes.
You bake. You know ukuthi uma uzobhaka ama cake, ukubalance ama ingredients does not mean ukuthi I recipe izothi 12 cups of flour, basically 12 cups of sugar. That would be a disaster.
Yeah. So
when you are baking a cake, balancing the ingredients does not mean that you put everything equally, but it means you put everything in according to the scale esizokhipha lento ofuna ukuyikhipha.
Yes.
So nathi sikanjalo wena sicela. So in nature, right? Okule misamo lemithathe engikhuluma ngayo. Kunabantu abadinga umsamo wenyanga more than ilanga nomhlaba.
Okay.
For them to find balance in themselves. There are people who will need the sun more than the moon.
Okay.
Let me tell you. So kunento so umuntu nomuntu unobulili obubili ayedwa.
Okay.
We both the feminine and the masculine. And so your feminine side will need the moon because the moon is the yang. It's the darkness. It's the feminine energy.
Okay.
So that is why amanzi are hambisana nama emotions. You know, when you're feeling sad, because the water has got that effect of calming emotions.
Okay.
You know, where else when you need energy and vitality to one abantu ngenkathi begula baphethwe iCovid bekuthiwa bahlale kuphi? Elangeni.
Okay.
Bekuthiwa bayohlala elangeni because the sun has got the rays of the sun are able to bring vitality emzimbeni yethu. They give us the energy. So the sun is what makes grow, right? Without light isn't as cool. We need to have light. Without water isn't as cool. The moon regulates the sun because without the moon ngabe kushiye kwangqonqa yonke into la emhlabeni. So the moon is what regulates the sun so that the temperature la emhlabeni izoba tolerable and izinto zizokhona ukukhula. There's always a synergy between le misamo yomithathu. Now, isn't it weird ukuthi kuthiwe ubuqaba uma umuntu uzi-aligna naleyo misame leyo, uzi-aligna uwenza ama-rituals ukuthi are helping you draw from the moon, ama-rituals that are helping you draw from the sun, and rituals that are helping you anchor, because la emhlabeni kula kumele ukuthi we call it to be rooted. You need to anchor. Umhlaba kumele ukwazi. Umhlaba mawungakwazi you're going to struggle with anything and everything that you do.
Wow.
So kunenkinga ekutheni like you are talking about astrology, exactly. You're saying izazi zaseMpumalanga, they were astrologists. So they were able to see and read the star, who has arrived, ukuphi, and all that kind of things, you know. And yet, interestingly enough, uma ukwenza lokho amaKristu ngizoza bathi cha usathane lokho izinto ukuhamba ngeenyawo. So there was this interesting halabaloo people were making ngobani lo DJ Sbu. Yeah, they were making mockery ukuthi he's growing his hair. Here's your antenna, by the way. Here's your antenna, and it's so I used to hate ukuthwala.
Okay.
Khule ngafuna nje ukuthwala. So ezinye izinto inkinga yiyo lo ukuthi and that's why we are here. So I am a teacher because I'm here to contemporarize ancient knowledge. Ngoba inkinga yiloko ukuthi uma ungakhoni ukuxoxa nabantu ngezinto zamandulo abazidingayo ngendlela abazokuzwa ngaso, then kuba misalignment.
Okay.
So we need to we there's me and other people like me that have come in this incarnation in this time to help remind people of ancient ways of living that are organic, but that they can understand the language
okay,
and the life yamanje, you know. So I've heard other people they want to go to the extreme of like, no, mele siphile the way sasiphila ngakhona emandulo. What does that mean? Where do you start? You can't be hypocritical about it. So if you saying ukuthi go wrong ukuthi abantu bafake ama-weave, then don't wear clothes as well. Fake isikhumba phela ngoba you understand? So there are things that do not matter. We just need to understand my basics. Let me talk about inwele. Inwele, it's what connects you to ama messages abuya emathongweni and from spirit.
Okay.
Ne? So why ukuthwala was an important thing is because once uvuleka iso lakho likamoya and you also open your what we call the crown chakra, ukhakhayi, I think in the Sizulu.
Yes.
You know how people abantu abadala, they will always protect lento le yengane because yona exoxisana nemimoya kakhulu lento le. That is why even nengane mayisazalwe kuthiwa kumele agcotshise something kumele because that's where spirit will connect with you. Wow. So imimoya iconnecta imimoya kunemimoya ngathi yasemkhathini kunemimoya yangaphansi komhlaba.
Okay.
Imimoya yangaphansi komhlaba ixhumana nathi ngeenyawo zethu, the foot of your soul, right? So uma, for an example, ukuthiwa why kubalekile ukuthwala ekhanda is because once you have an activation in your crown chakra and your third chakra, you are an active antenna that can connect nanoma yiphi imimoya. So uma uthwala noma inywele zakho, at least kumele ukuthi uzurole.
Okay.
So that it's not standing out like that.
Okay.
So that you are not connecting with imimoya that you don't want to be connecting with. Okay. What I'm saying is kwezinye indawo people were forced ukuthi bathwale but without explaining to them ukuthi why. And human nature is if you tell me don't then I do. Ngubane ukuhamba ngeenyawo ubuka ngazi ukuthi uyiqaba cha. It's like mase sivunulile sigqoke isintu, most of kahle asifaki icathulo. Why? Because we're connecting to Mother Earth.
Okay.
Because Mother Earth uyena osprovidayo with the supplications that we need to sustain our lives. So if there's no connection, because your body is umhlaba essentially. Umhlabathi nomzimba into eyodwa.
Yes.
And ziyanarishana. So your body is only nourished by umhlaba. Umzimba ukhuliswa ukudla okuvela kuphi emhlabeni.
Yes.
That's how the body grows. You cannot grow the body any other way.
Yes.
You either speak is purely because of what you've been putting inside yourself, which is coming from where? From the earth. Manje lezo zinto lezo njengoba ngichazile ukuthi it depends ukuthi wena uScelo, how much of these elements do you need to bring this balance where?
Wow. And
manje because we don't have that understanding sikubona ngazuthi people frown upon it uma semanzini. And yes, I do understand and accept ukuthi abantu bafike bagile imikhuba ngeke sikubalekele lokho imikhuba ikhona yonke indawo imikhuba ubuthakathi basically bukhona emabandleni ubuthakathi bukhona ebungomeni ubuthakathi. So there's no world that is immune to
you can't escape it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But when you go to these places, I mean, guys, it's so sad ukuthi ngoba thina sasiphila khona phela abantu abamnyama sasihlala ne-nature mawuye emakhayeni you still experience that, do you know ukuthi there were moments where I would literally cry ngikhalela ukuthi ngoDecember ngikhalela ukuthi ngiye emakhayeni and anginasihlobo anginalo ikhaya, the people bathi bayakhuphuka
sekhaya sobona sehla kunyaka
abanye bayakhuphuka abanye bayehla abanye bayakoboma. They have no idea how blessed they are. So uma uya endaweni ezinjalo, literally this is a house, there's a tree, kuneyinkomo ezihambelayo, they're still very much close to nature. But and thina sakubona ngazi ukuthi ubuqaba sasa siyacolonize ukuthi semalokishini sekumasaba, but abelungu they made enough money in their banks, they go to this place in the name of holidays. They go to these resorts to go and connect with nature. They go to the waters, they go to the mountains, they go to gardens, they go to, because baya lapha ukuyozbalansa njengoba ngichazile.
Wow.
So it's it's always looked down upon, shame by us, uma ubuyela ukphila this organic life that is actually meant to build you and to bring balance to you as a person.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard people speaking about decolonizing of our education, decolonizing of our lives. Is it doable based on the fact that majority of things that we're sharing, I believe they have to be documented. Some are documented, and because of our history, especially as Africans, most of these things were not documented. Now we find that we have lost some of the very incredible knowledge. And you spoke about knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
Now, how do we go back into really gaining wisdom upon where we are to escalate to where we're supposed to go?
Yeah. Yazi ukuthi sixakekile sixakiwe, we have a problem, as you say. And one of the biggest institutions, I think it's when I Scelo, majority of our institutions akhona la kwamhlaba are not serving us at all. The education system is one of the worst currently. It is a system, education system was basically designed to create abantu abazosebenzela abanye abantu.
Yes.
So la kuma notes wami nje bengifuna nje ukuxoxela about what we call the universal laws.
Okay.
Ekukuthi uma umuntu nomuntu awazi lawo ma laws, when you understand leyo mithetho leyo, impilo uzoyibuka ngendlela ehlukile, and you're going to start removing a lot of unnecessary suffering
okay,
and a lot of frustration. So, and that's what Ascension is about. We are evolving into a better way of living, right? One of the laws is the law of purpose.
Okay.
And inkinga ekhona with the education system is it disregard that law like there is no tomorrow. I-education system yamanje iyamphoqela umntwana ukuthi akabe into ethize. What's even worse is we even indoctrinate our kids nje basesebancane, uze umuntu omdala abuze ingane esecreche ufuna ukuba yini ma umdala. Why do you want to burden a child with a responsibility of becoming a something?
As if you're not something already.
Thank you. You know, the purpose of Gula Akona Soskat is to be a child. And to be a child is to be able to play well with other kids, is to be able to, we need to be feeding them in, good food. We need to make sure that they sleep well. We need to make sure that they can learn to count. Yes, I'm games we were learning to count basically without the stress. If you look at the homeworks that have been given to our kids, it's ridiculous. If you look at the heaviness of imsebenzi, it's quantity more than quality, really, and creating a lot of frustration and creating a lot of indlela ekungasizona indlela zethu zokufunda. So the education system yethu is not helping us at all with unfolding and understanding ukuthi what is this child bringing into this world.
Ipurpose yakhe kahle yini?
So right from nje ekreshi sibafundisa ukuba yi something. We even have ama career days, and kulama career days there's limited careers, your usual, that are going to be sold to our kids. And every child must aspire towards that career. And God forbid laba bangakhona ukufinyelela then bayidomi and they get frustrated with the system, and so we know ukuthi kunabanye ingane that are gifted ngezandla zabo.
Yes.
And I'm saddened with what's happening in Ndinoto. Like Ndinoto is becoming a sad story. I've been watching and reading on social media. My results are drop. But even the way they changed. So Ndinoto, because I was still in primary school. By the way, born and bred like Davidson.
Yes.
So and Ndinoto, my phone knew it was for kids that were good with their hands. Because I remember my cousin. My cousin is the very first student while at Ndinoto. It was like a technical school, and he did so well. He started creating his into one. I remember he created something for our church, like envelopes. Do you understand how much of a shift that is from someone who was struggling with iskolo and amongst ama cousins wake that are intellectuals and yena he's not, and the clout that is, and to finding a space where he could express himself, and we were able to see ukuthi he can create izinto thina singakhona ukuzenza nathi, and that is the balance of life, and angazi ukuthi kuhambe hamba kwatshintsha kuphi, ngabona naye sebenza bo maths and science, but anyway, and even namanje when Scelo, there's a stigma towards abantwana abaya kuma technicals and kuma colleges versus those who go into varsity.
Yes.
Yeah, but interesting enough, I'm a graduate with all their degrees and honors, they're not finding work because no one is going to create work for anyone anymore.
Times have changed.
The status quo samanje is we are being forced to be creative. We are being forced to create a new thing. And so uma wenza into engasiyona eyakho, you're going to struggle.
Wow.
So the law of purpose says that the more you are in alignment with your purpose, the more the universe will set you up and hook you up nabantu nezinto ezizoyenza ukuthi logo ofuna ozela ukuzoyenza kube lula ukuthi ukwenze.
Wow.
And that's actually one of the ways you know when you are in the wrong place. When you have to struggle for everything oyenzayo, and uma ubamba la kuyaputshuka ma wenzani and
you're
then
in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place. Lento lena ukuthi Foster Parro uzophumelela. Kumele siyibheke ngelinye ilizwe lento le. It's not really supposed to be like that.
People are in the wrong place.
When you are in the wrong place, uyoqumbela abantu, uyothukuthelela abantu, uyoshaya iguli, uyothuka abantwana, ubabiza ngamagama, because you're not supposed to be an educator. And here you are, you chose to be teacher because maybe it was the only available thing. There you are, you chose to be nurse. But actually, awuyena nurse. Because all these the colonization of ama gifts na yinkinga khona le, yabo ase ayaclassifywa and ase afakwa ne status, so sekungazuthi uma udokotela ubalekile ukuba unurse, which is ridiculous, because you and I know ukuthi kunezinto odokotela bangakhona ukuzenza ezenziwa ama nurse, equally so the other way around, you know why somebody decided ukuthi udokotela kumele abe more revered than the other, I don't know. So it's the same thing even with being an educator. When you're a primary school educator, you'll earn less than a high school. What? That is just absurd to me. Because, so that is the system esibulalayo futhi leyo eyenza ukuthi abantu babe frustrated, because manje compensation of the vocation that you have chosen will also affect your livelihood.
True.
Because usuyoyenza something because you need the money yalapho kuleyo nto leyo, but wena awukho lapho. And so people who have, because somebody said in Africa we have a crisis of leadership, and we see it everywhere, in corporates, in government, in civil society, in schools and whatever. Why? Because majority of people who are there occupying these managerial seats, they are aboscaface. Simba.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Umalumeka Simba.
Thank you. Umalumeka Simba wabulala Mufasa. Simba ran away. And what happened to the pride? What happened to the land? The land literally, Awoma, went dry, and everything died. Until Nala decided to go and fetch Usimba. So that's what's happening. There's that evolution and revolution of Abonala going to fetch Abo Simba, because Simba needs to go back to the pride. Because the pride is dying, to revive the whole thing. And because Umhlaba ubuwazi Usimba as inkosi Mufasa, when it was not the right king sitting, esihlalweni Umhlaba wafa.
You know, you're reminding me of this theory. It's a fact that in South Africa during the apartheid times, mabuya le makhaya, whether bobuya ebukhosini or bobuya bakufaka emayini phansi, they don't care about your bloodline ukuthi yazi kahle kahle labantu babuya in such and such place. I think this is what we're experiencing, because when after the apartheid and we said now we're coming to democracy, there is a lot of things that we lost from the back, because we did not want to correct the situation, to say, Tina Sabantu, we do know. I mean, let's look at the situation in KwaZulu-Natal. That cannot be solved by lawyers, cannot solved by courts. It could only be solved by people who are truthful to say ngempela inkosi iza kanjani. And if you follow the right truth and you know the truth from the inside, that ngempela kumele kwenziwe izinto kanje. But the people who suffer a lot are people in the ground, because the leaders, if they're not truthful and they're not honest, people are going to suffer the generations.
Yes, I was also thinking about that when I started kunento eso uma umuntu into kungase yakini ngibuka nje even the way looking at Davidton for an example. Davidton used to be one of the cleanest townships.
True.
The safest. I used to walk from ekhaya eMazibuko ngiyobukela imovie kusesene movie lapha not a Tita, the other one. We had a new metro, or what's the other? We had lapha a mall.
Okay.
Oh, you don't know, Shem. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, there was a cinema there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember me and my girls, Safunda Wetsworth, we went there, siyobukela Waiting to Exhale. Sayibukela lapha.
Wow.
But I would walk basically from Emazimbogo to there and go and watch a movie, Puma ngabo 6, 6:30, and walk back home with no stress. Sekunabantu abaningi akungasabantu like Davidton, with no offense. And coming from endaweni eziningi, my observation is umuntu uma kungasi ikhaya lakhe and into angayikhulelanga ayibi negugu. So it's easy to just destroy. And so yigo ngithi abo Scarface. Okay, so even with amongst the family, so Scarface character yakhe ngiyamthanda uSimba like ama-Popeye gay ama-attention downloads wami ngiwathola kuwo.
Wow.
Yes, no, there's abo-Popeye abaningi ama-cartoons movies amaningi are very spiritual.
Yes,
if you listen and watch the story, so download ama messages are powerful. So unfortunately, having said that, it can also happen with umuntu abe wasekhaya but don't feel belonging. Kune history, kunamanxeba. So, umfowethu but nginalento le.
Okay.
Yeah. And so bottom line is you don't find a space as igugu. You don't find it as a place that you is dear to you. And so it's easy to destroy.
Yeah.
So iyo lento engisho ukuthi that's what's happening. Like umama maxoxa ngabo tishar bakhe, like she talks about angels. She still remembers. Yes, ekhaya nje sihlale sisidla abantu tishar Canada.
Yes.
They were gods. Because they were so passionate about umsebenzi wabo and what they did for abo manga leso sikhathi leso, where they were, for then as a black child to think about a career, it's not that easily accessible, but your teacher would make you believe you can do it. I think it's one of the stories of opera. I love one of the stories of opera. She shares ugogo wakhe, dream yakhe for yena was for her to be a maid. So ngaleso sikhathi leso it was even difficult ukuthi ube maid. And she says ugogo would pray for her and always say I wish you get good white people who will treat you with love. And she's like I'm sure Gogo lakhona, she's like lo mntwana not
Finally.
like not even finally, like who are you? She never thought ukuthi her little black girl will actually be employing white people.
Wow.
And ugogo yena like isifiso sabe ukuthi umntwana wami ngazothi angathola abantu abelungu abangeke bamhlukumeze as a maid, because that's how far she could dream. Because of the environment. Yakhumbula ngikhuluma ngithi environment isitshela ukuthi the what we are. You are a maid because you are black.
Yes.
But it doesn't give us the truth of who we are. And look how great opera is now, because she discovered the who. Because once you discover your who, there's no turning back.
Wow.
And that's when the universe will conspire to hook you up and set you up one way or the other. So that's the law of purpose. And so what you are saying, Guti, siqala kuphi? And yes, it's Mina, I used to be overwhelmed. I used to cry manje emsebenzini and tell God uyasizonda abantu abamnyama, uyabazonda abantu besifazane, you know. And until I understood which, oh, that's the healing work I'm here to do. And so that's why bekungihlukumeza, because you need, uma into ingakuhlukumezi, uma into ingakuzwisa ubuhlungu, uyawube nendaba nayo. It needs to bother you, and once it bothers and you see, uwazi ukuthi inkinga yakho.
Ibhekene nawe ngqo.
Yes, you are the antidote to that poison. And uma sikhuluma siya deep city, you created it.
Yo.
Because thina sicabanga ukuthi impilo iqala manje, so victim mentality it's non-existent again. Any suffering or pain I come across, I know I created it, whether in my past life or by my ancestors. Because when ukhuluma nge-ancestors, ukhuluma ngabantu oyibo nabo abawuwe.
Yes.
So kunezinto ekukuthi abantu bakini abazenza or abantu bakhe abazenza ezashiya umhlaba umoshakele than how they found it. Who must fix it?
You are responsible for it.
So lezo zinto lezo ngoba yini as creator, wena ke uzozilungisa lezo zinto lezo.
Wow.
And in majority of our healers, that's actually umlando is about that. It's about our lineages that were either entrusted by uNkulunkulu or men's, whoever you believe in, to certain sacred powers to bring balance emhlabeni. But somewhere, somehow, they were either negligent or they became greedy. They had ideas and started to, you know. So, okay, I create music. I'm a writer of music. That's my gift. Someone needs to sing the music. Umusicelo sefika nephimbo elimnandi. Azocula the very music lo engiwubhalile, I start having a problem. Because a stage, abantu babona bani?
The musician, yes.
Not the composer. Sengiphatha kabuhlungu lento leyo ukuthi, you know, izinto ezincane ezistrephayo singabantu. Not understanding ukuthi I signed up to be at the back of the seat. So they say an orchestra conductor gives his back or her back to the audience. It is the band that is seen by the audience.
Yes.
It's only at the end of the performance that he or she will take a bow and receive Elon. But now, if inkinga yiyo le ukuthi if une obsession ye limelight, ufuna ukuthi ufuna ukubonwa, it's because akuse yakho le nto leyo. Because uma into kuye yakho, uma into uzalwele yona uzoyenza, your focus, you don't care who is watching and whatever. It is not the motivation is not how it is received. The motivation is how well you are doing in that which you are doing. And that's what brings joy to you, you know, being able to know that I did my best. And when your best has an impact outside of self, wow, then we also celebrate that.
Wow.
But the focus is never. People who are doing well and who are organically famous, they didn't plan to be famous. Because sekuyinkinga ekhona manje ukuthi abantu bafuna ukuba famous. Wonke umuntu uplan ukuba famous, and it's causing a lot of
chaos. Hence, people are doing ridiculous things because they look at the end. No, man, the fame will come when it comes. But if you focus on your purpose, now you're speaking about finding yourself and all of this. I'm sure it's been a very long journey.
Oh yeah.
Now for an individual, obukele ndosilalele who's asking mina purpose yini, what is it that assisted you mhlambe in terms of reading your patterns and the metrics, and I'm sure also the genealogy to say you know who you are, but what else assisted in terms of finding your purpose?
I'm a very bad example when Scelo, because
Yeah.
I came with the knowing I've got psychic abilities, and one of my biggest psychic ability is what we call a claircognizant.
Okay.
A claircognizant sometimes is a very frustrating gift. Uyazi that you uyazi. You know that you know.
Okay.
But you have zero content to why you know. So it's a beautiful gift, but also a very frustrating gift because it makes the navigation a little bit more frustrated. When I was young, it's a that's how young, long time ago. I already had a motto, 80 impacted to impact. And I had no idea what we are.
You just like the
and
sound of it.
I was young, and I was just nje a child who's and I remember at some year, those who don't know, it's September was a youth organization, Twata, that was like young people that were coming from difficult backgrounds, to do my life skills and whatever. So mina bengabuyi financially, I did not come from a difficult background.
Okay.
Ngangihlala eQuantum,
Yes.
it was so hilarious. I was literally the only one obehlala ngale. Everybody behlala eThwatha East. I don't even think we had someone from the West because belapha East. And then ekhaya we were strict about 6 o'clock ejardini. Uthola ukuthi manje mhlambe siphume late besicula kumnandi sebayangkolekela lapha imali ukuthi uyogibela itaxi.
Oh wow.
Yohlika lapha eGas Power.
Wow.
Even Crazy Bridge. But I used to love it. I had no idea why. I don't even know how I found it and how I connected with those people. But what I can tell you, one of the projects with my cousin Uthio Bengfunda Standard 9, we were having Saturday classes in one of the high schools at Etwat, a very old one, assisting Standard 10 with their economics because so somehow curriculum ingafani. So mina la ngangifunda khona curriculum yethu standard 9 was curriculum yaga standard 10, and they were struggling, and I was teaching. I'm just showing how far back my teaching started.
But also, you're saying you used to be a student at Wordsworth.
Yeah.
I was invited to speak to the grade 12. So I love words. So I didn't understand because when people are pronouncing Wordsworth, I was asking, what is Wordsworth? Until I realized the words worth.
Okay.
I love it. So I went there to motivate them with the name of their school to
that's
say,
beautiful.
Yeah, your words are worth something.
Definitely.
And I could kick it from there because now I realized it was always here, but I didn't understand the name of the school.
Until the space called you.
Yes.
See, that's what happens as well.
Wow.
You and the universe will conspire for you. Uye endaweni ego guti, you wouldn't even have imagined that you'll be there.
Wow.
But because you are in alignment with your purpose, the spaces will call you to come to them. So iganjalo even nemvelo. So coming to the purpose. So I'm just saying I'm a bad example in a sense, yoguti, because I have like a mission of helping others find themselves.
Okay.
Indlela yami icishe ingeke ifane ne-majority of people.
Okay.
But I'm not going to lie to you. This is important. People need to invest in their self-development. You need to invest in therapy. You need to invest in counseling. You need to invest in activities.
Okay.
Nama gatherings that are going to help you shape that.
Wow.
So, ngikhuluma ngabo September deliberately.
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning how, as a young person, I chose to spend my time. I could have chosen I could have chosen ukubukela TV mangibuya esikolweni. I could have chosen khamba ama-party, whatever. I chose to be in the company. So what we used to do is ngama weekends we used to do ama garden party.
Okay.
We would literally go to someone's house. And then we'll have shami braai 20 rand, whatever. But it was a choice. So everything in life is a choice. If you're a young person, ozoti, maybe I don't have financial resources, but I am very sure, Guti, in all our communities, one way or the other, zikhona ama gatherings, eguguti, young people choose to come together for a positive influence on each other. Because that's one of the big spaces to start from, Even Amanya Masonto, they have good youth programs.
Yes.
Where they come together. Use those platforms because it's about what you are influencing yourself with. Yes. So that's for the young people. But for abantu who are, economically able to invest kuma services that requires a deeper going into self. They need to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, because I don't understand. As I can prioritize, we are improving, I'm a white watty.
Yes, yes.
You know, things that are literally for a moment. If we can budget for those things, why not budget for things that are services that are going to grow you and help you go deeper?
With your self-development.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I think I want us to go into the last part of things so that we can wrap up. That how much is important to heal? Because part of what we talk about therapy, because, excuse me, we have a lot of people who are still carrying pains of unforgiveness, pains of unclosure, so how important is that in terms of you discovering yourself? Because one of the most difficult topic to speak about is forgiveness, to say how much people don't even forgive themselves. They always blaming themselves. I could have done this, I could have done that. So it escalates also on us not able to forgive other people as well. How much is it important for you to be able to reach your future?
So one of the universal laws, as it is within, so it is without.
Okay.
The law of attraction. Abantu bacabanga ukuthi law of attraction, it only works uma ufuna uku-attracta izinto positive. They use the law of attraction for attracting. I want to attract this and that. The law of attraction. So these universal laws. It's a pity we didn't get to it. I'll visit again to go through the laws. But the law of attraction, the law of vibration, it's that everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is vibrating. So mangikhuluma nge law of vibration nabo energy attraction. Kufana ne motor driver la endleleni. Ufuna ukumamela to a certain radio station. The radio station will not physically come to your car, but you tune in to the frequency of the station, and somehow the station comes into your car or it comes into your home.
Wow.
So inner work, as it is within, so it is without. Everything abantu abayibukayo empilweni zabo eyenzakalayo abangayithandi nabayithandayo, it's a reflection of what's happening inside of them.
Oh, wow.
And that's how important healing is. So the world that you've created inside of self, which is mangumango inside of self, I'm talking about your mind and your emotions. What happens in the conversations that you have with self? What happens about how you feel? Ngempilo, ngawe, ngabanye abantu, is what you are going to create outside of yourself.
Oh, wow.
So I cannot emphasize how important to get yourself right. So mina, that's what my journey has been.
Wow.
It was to fix mina ngaphakathi. So just a quick one. I was posting go Facebook my house ngaphandle. It was things fall apart and I'm renovating, and I think today they are done and it looks so beautiful.
Wow.
And I said to people, if you go inside my house, it's a healing sanctuary. Ongena phakathi kwami uyezwa ukuthi i-energy yala, someone was like, your house is so quiet, kwenzakalani? It's very peaceful, it's very comfortable. But ngaphandle it was not like that. It was a representative of me. Wow. I first deliberately, intentionally fixed the inner me.
Wow.
Because then the outer me, the outside of my house, is now complementing the inside of my house. Abantu abaningi, we spend a lot of our energies trying to convince people outside of selves ukuthi siyaphila when we are dead. Trying to convince people ukuthi si happy when we are very unhappy and depressed. We get lured by social media. Angena ku social media, noma the way ngizoshuta ngakhona, na the way ngizophosa ngakhona izoba perfect. Everything, everybody, most of the people, it's a perfect world.
Yes.
And honestly, if you're gonna judge yourself according to what you see there, you're gonna be depressed because wonke umuntu lapho perfect, yonke into lapho perfect. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
But when you fix your inside, when your mindset is above the matrix, is above what the world is showing you, when you feel good about yourself, when you love yourself, that's what you're going to attract to yourself outside of self. Ayikho shortcut, guys. Ayikho enye indlela, ayikho enye secret, ayikho magic. It's about that. Now, aligning nale misamo le mithathu engikhulume ngayo is about, remember I said, finding balance, your inner balance, getting into your inner balance. So one of the universal laws okugcina, it's the law of free will. Inkinga esinayo yiyo le ukuthi awunkosami, we can do anything that I want to do. But if free will, a law of free will, ihamba ne-law of cause and effect. Yonke into oyenzayo inesivuno sakhona. Which njalo uvuna ukutshalile. You cannot plant isihlahla sama-apple and expect strawberries. It will never happen. You know? And so everything that you think, you feel, you do is projected back to you.
Wow.
By your outside world. And so when you fix your inside house, and your inside house is intact and it's giving you the peace and whatever, then you can start sharing yourself with the world. Because honestly, it's for the people to see, you know, and for the people to appreciate people outside of yourself. Your house must be comfortable apart because that's where you spend a lot of time.
Wow.
But when you are now at a point where you are so alive ngaphakathi, it will not help but show ngaphandle. But over and above that, uma ingadi isihluma amablom amilile whatever, ingadi ayimemezeli ukuthi butterfly come to me, bees come to me, you know, they come to the garden because they see the pollen, because the garden is alive. That's how life works.
Oh wow. They say we do not attract what we want, but you attract who you are.
Injalo.
So focus on the inner you. I hope we are inspired today. And I think we need to have a second session.
I think so too.
I believe that this was a great insight and you are inspired. May God bless you. And thank you so much also to our guests for being with us today. uNkulunkulu anibusise, siyabonga.
Kamako.